up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video. And guys, today we're covering Batman: The Last Night on Earth, Book 1. Now, this is Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's final Batman run, or pretty much final story that they're writing about Batman. And pretty much this follows the story of Batman and Joker as they team up to go through a venture of the wastelands of the DC Universe after a big fallout of events. Now guys, if you end up liking this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you like the content that I'm dropping, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the big DC stories that are dropping every single day. So guys, enough this intro, let's dive into Batman: The Last Night on Earth. So guys, as we dive into the story, we first see this cover. And guys, this cover is dope, and it pretty much shows Batman, and he's in like a silhouette form. He's just all black, alright? It's like a shadow. And he's holding Joker. And in the story, guys, Joker is just like a head in a jar. And we see Batman going through the wastelands of the DC Universe. And guys, this is written by Scott Snyder, like masterclass writer. Like, he's done some great stuff. New 52 Batman, and he did like Dark Knight's Metal, the Justice League series, and he's about to do Dark Knight's Death Metal. Now, it's drawn by Greg Capullo, and he's probably one of the best artists. Actually, I would say the best artist to be paired up with Scott Snyder anytime. And the colors are by Jonathan Glapion and FCO Placenta. Alright guys, let's dive into the first page. Now, we got chapter 1, and it's actually part 1 of this book. This book is split up into 4 parts, and part 1 is called The Cave. Now, we start off and we have this narrator saying that we've had many adventures together, Batman and I. Now, we don't know who this narrator is. We find out by the end of the story, but this narrator is saying this is the strangest adventure yet. Now, we see pretty much this person in different panels putting down chalk in different parts of Gotham. And Batman's been on this case for like a whole year. He's been on this case for a while. And pretty much over a total of 363 days, someone has pretty much made like a chalk line 5 feet in like a 5 feet radius, and it's pretty much carved out a whole pretty much silhouette of Batman. And this is a dead Batman, and the heart of it is at the center of Gotham, or pretty much that place that Batman always dreads going to. It's Crime Valley. Now, if you remember, Crime Valley is the place that Batman's parents actually got shot. Now, his parents got shot there, and they made a vow to become the Batman, so it's probably the most important place he's ever been. Now, as Batman is approaching this place, because he thinks that the center, the person who's been doing this all, which is kind of a weird act, who spends every single morning of 363 days going to a certain part in Gotham, and every single day, 5 feet radius, just putting out a chalk line and having like a vision to make a silhouette of Batman, and the heart of it be at Crime Valley. Like, who takes that much time to plan this out and not do anything really wrong, but something just weird? Now, Batman's trying to figure out who this is and what is their plan. Now, he follows the signal, and Alfred is saying, don't worry, there's nobody at Crime Valley right now, because Batman isn't really trying to figure out who did it. He's trying to just investigate and figure out what is going on at first, because this is a weird case. Now, Alfred says there's no one there, Batman makes it there, and as he's walking, he's like, Alfred, someone is here. And he says, he gives Alfred the eyes, and Alfred's like, what is that? And Batman, we see this like image of Batman pretty much standing above like this little person. It's pretty much like, it's a kid, and this kid has like an umbrella. Now, Batman goes by, it's like, hello son, are you hurt? Young man. Batman's trying to figure this out. Batman lifts the umbrella up, and he's like, oh my god, what is this? And he sees a dead, pretty much kid who has like white eyes. This kid is diseased, he's done, and Batman, it's pretty horrific for Batman. Batman's like, what is going on? And as he's talking to this kid, he's like, he's telling Alfred, say no Jim Gordon, who is Commissioner Gordon. He's like, victim appears to be 10, maybe 11. And he's trying to figure out who would do this, who would kill a kid like this. And as he's doing this, you hear gears just going through, the gears of a gun. And as this gun approaches, Batman's talking. He's like, he's been posed by means of a prop, some kind of mechanical, like how this kid's probably been like killed by something. Now, we know it's pretty much a gun, but this person walks by, and Alfred's like, Bruce, move! And as this gun comes by, it then fires, and Batman then pretty much goes away, and he's in the darkness, like he got shot. We don't know what happened to him, but then he wakes up in this place that kind of looks like a hospital of sorts, or asylum. And Batman wakes up, and he hears this person saying, Bruce, wake up. And Batman does. And he's like, where am I? And we see this fly going around him. Now guys, a fly, okay, as little as it is, has been a big deal, and anything Scott Snyder writes about Batman. If you go back to Death of the Family, it ends, like the very last page of that Death of the Family story arc, you see Batman like trying to figure out the code of Joker, what he did, because Joker pretty much like kidnapped all of Bat Family, pretty much made a ruse to Batman, like cut off their faces. Like Joker's pretty crazy. He cut off his own face back then, and you see in that storyline at the end, Batman's looking at like this computer, and all it says is "ha." That's it. That's all Joker was trying to convey. You see a fly at every part, like an end of a story. So this signals the end of Batman. Now, as we see this, it flies on him. It's like, Alfred, come in. Where are you? And then we see this person come above him. It's like, Bruce Wayne, my lord, you're right here. And it's finally over. And as we know, Batman's kind of freaked out about this. This guy looks like Joker. He really has a hospital-like suit on, and in his lapel is a purple flower. Now, Joker's used to having purple flowers in there because he uses to poison people with Joker toxin, kill them. Now, this guy has a weird smile too, so it pretty much is the Joker, but it's not. And as we go on, Batman's like, what have you done? Now, this doctor is like, relax, Bruce. And he talks to Bruce, and he's like, don't worry about him. Bruce is like, this is a joke. You're trying to play something on me. He thinks it's a Joker. And this doctor pretty much says to him, no, in fact, this is the first time that you haven't been like caught in like a trap. You haven't been played like a joke. And he says like, you haven't been tricked. This is the first time in so many years. And he's like, just relax. There's so many people waiting out this door wanting to see you. You've been here for so long, and you're finally awake. And he's pretty much saying, I have been your doctor for 20 years. You've been pretty much insane at this place, and we've been treating you. He's like, I am Dr. Redmond Hood. Now, if you arrange that, like rearrange that, it's kind of Red Hood, which I noticed that, like, it doesn't spell like completely Red Hood, but if you think about Redmond Hood, like, that just gives me Red Hood vibes, alright? Like, thinking of Red Hood, and Joker killed Red Hood, like, just going into that, if you're just a big, long-time Batman fan, reading that is pretty huge. And guys, about Dr. Redmond Hood, actually way back, and actually not way back, but just the New 52 Batman run, when in like the halfway through, that doctor was introduced, and that doctor would help out Batman with cases, help out with certain things. He'd show up once in a while. But in the Endgame arc, it was revealed that it was the Joker, and it freaked Batman out. Like, it was a big reveal. So you can't blame Batman for being freaked out here at seeing this guy. He's like, you're the Joker, what the heck are you gonna do to me? And then this doctor reveals that you've been here for 20 years in Arkham Asylum. And Bruce's like, no, let me out. Bruce's like, no, I'm not being in Arkham Asylum. This is the worst nightmare ever. And the doctor's like, Bruce, please, this is the start of. And Bruce's like, don't touch me. And the doctor's like, there's so many people wanting to meet you, but there's one person out of all of them who's waiting right now, and I'm going to let them in. And as this person walks in, Bruce is like, no, it can't be. And it turns out that's Alfred. And he's like, Bruce, is it really you? That's what Alfred says. And Alfred says to the doctor, he's like, Dr. Hood, is this true? And this, like, I'm going to call him Joker. Well, he's not Joker. Okay, the doctor. Dr. Redmond Hood. He says the scans show full engagement. He's awake, Alfred. You can talk to him. And Bruce is like, well, please, Alfred, take me home. Bruce wants to go home. He's like, take me out of this Arkham Asylum. This is a crazy place. And Alfred's like, I will, my boy. I will. I promise I'll take you home. But for now, just remember, just know that you're forgiven. Know that we forgive you for all you've done. I'm just happy that you're awake and you finally realize what you've done. And Bruce is confused. He's like, forgive me for what? What did I do? And Alfred's like, in a sad voice, he's like, you don't remember. I'm sorry, Bruce, but you were the one that killed your parents in Crime Valley that night. And Bruce is shocked. He's like, no, that can't be. It can't be. And again, you see the fly. Guys, a fly. It opens his eyes wide. Like, it's a shocker moment for Bruce. And Alfred's like, stop it. You just can't. Stop being like this. Because Bruce pretty much says to him, Alfred, you're not real. Nothing's real. And Alfred's tired of this. It's been 20 years. And Alfred's like, no. I thought you're finally with us, but then you're still crazy. And Alfred's like, stop it. There's so many people wanting to help you. So many doctors, but you keep going insane. And then he opens up the blinds in the asylum bed. Well, the bed blinds pretty much. And you see all these doctors. And they pretty much resemble Batman's rogues gallery. Like Scarecrow, Harley Quinn, Solomon Grundy. And Batman's like, no, they're not helping me. But which one of you did this? And he's thinking that, like, which one of these people, or these doctors, or maybe in Joker, caused all this and put Alfred in this trap. And he says to Alfred that he's a scarecrow. Did Scarecrow do this? Is he inflicting fear on us? And Alfred's like, no, you keep putting up this whole like act that Batman, that you're Batman. You keep going through dreams that Batman, you're taking down villains, but all you're doing is hurting the people that love you and trying to help you. And Bruce is like, no, this can't be. And then the doctor puts in like a needle, and Bruce goes right back to sleep. Because the doctor pretty much says like, okay, you've been asleep for a while, you're not used to the lights, so let's put you in a dark place. And we see Bruce next in like this dark room that is really like an asylum room. Like if you're stuck here for a while, like this is some freaking solitude, alright? And you see Bruce, he's there, it's like, come on, there has to be something on the wall. There has to be something that it's like kind of like an error, a mistake in this whole dream. Because he thinks he's in like a dream or a nightmare. So he's like, I have to find the thing that's like an error so I can get out of here. And he thinks he's found it. He's like, oh, there's a hole in the wall. He starts digging out, and all he finds is a penny and a dinosaur. Like, imagine how disappointed you'd be if you're like, oh, yeah, this nightmare, and you find just some toys. Or like a penny and, yeah, a dinosaur toy. Like, you'd be pretty disappointed. And Bruce is like, no, this can't be. And he starts throwing stuff. He's like, I don't believe you. He's like, I'm not buying into this. He thinks he's speaking to a villain. Now we shift later on, a couple days later, and we see Bruce in another room with Alfred facing him. And Alfred says that, like, pretty much it's been days, and he's asking Bruce, have you finally realized all your stuff that you've done? Like, we'll forgive you, but you have to realize what you've done. And Bruce is like, no, I am Batman. I am not just Bruce Wayne. He's like, why do I speak Mandarin? Why do I speak like all these different languages? And Alfred's like, we had somebody teach you. We had this guy, Elliot, this librarian. And then he's like, and you thought was a villain of a ridiculous, like, name. Now, if you think about that, that's hush, alright? That's hush. That has to be hush. And then we shift, and he's like, okay, how do I know how to fight? And Alfred's like, we had somebody teach you. You have to get this. We had people teach you how to fight. And he's like, you drowned that person out thinking you're like using self-defense, and you think that you drowned that person like a magical well. Like, Alfred thinks he's insane. And Bruce is like, no, I am not insane, this is true. And Alfred's like, okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna bring out something that the doctor, Dr. Redmond Hood, thinks is kind of destructive. It could like mess with you a little bit. Bruce is like, what? What is it? Bring it out. Alfred's like, it's your cowl, the cowl you wear, and you're pretty much as Batman. And Bruce is like, thank you, Alfred, give it to me. And he takes it out, but this freaking cowl is on top, pretty much connected to like a Hannibal Lecter type asylum suit, and it says W on it. And Alfred's like, here is Batman. Pretty much, Batman's a crazy man. And we go on, and Bruce is like, you're telling me, and Alfred's like, yeah, that this is the jacket that they used for so many years. They put you on, and they use shock treatment to try to bring you back from insanity. And Bruce is like, the W, and Alfred's like, the Wayne Foundation. They pretty much funded this. So Bruce's own foundation funded this whole thing, and Bruce is like, I need to get out of here. I need to take the suit. Where's the suit? And Alfred's like, I don't have the suit. Just stop. Just finally realize you're just Bruce Wayne, not Batman. Bruce is like, sorry, Alfred, but I gotta go. So then he finally puts on that cowl and he leaves. And that's the end of part 1 of the story. So yeah, guys, we're a quarter of the way through. We got 3 more parts, but I'm pretty sure that you're interested, right? I'm pretty sure that you like this story so far, because it's pretty fascinating and it's leaving a lot of questions. Like, I'm asking a lot of questions already. Like, what's with all these villains as doctors? What is Alfred doing? Is he actually buying into this? Is Bruce actually a nightmare? And actually, what is with, like, what happened at the beginning as he was going after, like, this case, and then all of a sudden, he's in Arkham Asylum? Like, it's pretty crazy, guys. But it's time to head into part 2. Now, part 2, we got the right hand. Now, as we go in, we see pretty much Bruce. He has the cowl on. He has that pretty much asylum suit on, and the belts are pretty much like a cape for him. He's going through different floors. It says in less than 5 minutes, he makes it to the 3rd floor. Now he's taking out all these doctors that I think are villains. He takes down Bullock. He comes across Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon's like, you remember me, son? We used to have talks on top of the rooftop. And that's what Commissioner Gordon and Batman always do. But still, Batman's like, no, I'm not buying into this. And he finally makes it to the final floor where there's nowhere left to go. And then we see Alfred, we pretty much, Dr. Redmond Hood, all these different doctors behind him that are pretty much the rogues gallery of Batman. And Alfred's like, stop this. Bruce, please stop. And Batman's like, never. I figured out your secret, Alfred. Why'd you do it? And Alfred's like, just calm down, I'm begging you. And Batman's pretty much like, why did you keep me here for so long? And Alfred's like, okay, he tells the doctors, leave us. I need to speak with him in private. And they finally speak, like man to man. And we see Alfred say, he's like, there's nothing left out there, Bruce. All of the DC universe is a wasteland, everything's gone wrong. And Batman's like, well, what do you mean? He's actually like, what? It's all gone? Alfred's like, yes. No more friends, no more Gotham, no more heroes. And Batman's like, I failed. How did I fail? And Alfred's like, please, Bruce, don't you see? This is a better thing. This is look at it like pretty much a half glass full instead of like a half glass of water like empty. That's what he's like. He's like, look on the bright side of things, not like pretty much the negative side of things. And he tells, this is actually your time to be free. You don't have to deal with Gotham. You don't have to deal with being a hero. You can be Bruce Wayne. You can be free for once. You can have a regular life. And Alfred tells him, for this past like many years, 20 years, I've been playing like pretty much like not a VR, but another reality that he could spend in where he's just Bruce Wayne at the manor. He could go around, live a normal life. And he's like, Bruce, you woke up 2 years early, so it's not fully finished, but if you still want it, you could go into it. And Bruce is like, Alfred, you know I can't do that. And then Bruce takes his hand. He grabs Alfred's hand, and he touches Alfred's face. And Alfred's face, pretty much, he had like a hologram showing him younger, but actually, Alfred is an old man. It's been so many years, and Batman's like, I knew it. And Alfred's like, you could tell because when you touched my hand, you pretty much felt my heartbeat. It was slower. And as he talks, Alfred's like, I'm sorry. And Batman's like, it's good to see you, old friend. Like, Batman's like, actually kind of relieved. He's like, this isn't a nightmare. This is actually Alfred. Alfred's like, he's kind of happy to see him. He pretty much wipes a tear off, pretty much away. And he talks to Alfred's like, come on, you can stay here. Just stay. Live a normal life. Batman's like, no, I can't. And Bruce is like, come with me, Alfred. You come with me on this adventure. Figure out what's out there. And Alfred's like, no, I can't. I can't go out there. Because I can't deal with everything that's going on. Like, I've already seen this once. I can't deal with it again. I'll stay here. And Bruce is like, please, you have to come. Like, come on, come with me. And Alfred's like, no, just take something. Take the pennies and just remember me. And Bruce tells him that, like, wait, but I have one question. Why do I feel so strong? You're old. Everybody else is old. But I'm strong and I feel like young. And I was like, before I tell you, it's going to really, like, change things. You'll be shocked. But before I tell you, please give me something that I want. And Bruce's like, anything. And then Alfred's like, let me hug my boy. And they pretty much, as father and son, hug each other. Like, Alfred and Bruce's relationship are one of the strongest relationships in the entire DC universe. Like, it's pretty much a father and son. Because way back when Bruce's parents died, Alfred was the one that saved the day, pretty much took care of him and helped him become Batman. So what Alfred reveals to him is that actually this Bruce, is a clone of the regular Bruce. The old Batman, he's gone. He's either dead or disappeared, and Alfred cloned this. Well, he didn't clone it, but this Bruce got cloned, and Alfred found this Bruce and is pretty much raising him again, trying to save Bruce like a father would do. But guys, we shift Bruce pretty much taking his hand out into the wasteland. He gets up and he sees like this dead wasteland. He's pretty much out of this dream. He's into the real world. And we see him walking, and then in the far distance, we see this pretty much lantern, alright? This lamp. And he goes by, and he grabs it, and he sees it's the Joker's head. A head in a jar. And Joker wakes up. He's like, who's there? Who's there? He's all like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, you're here, Batman. You're here. We can finally, you came back to save me. This is great. He's like, I was starting to think that I was just alone. He's like, I've been trying to just practice my jokes for 10 years. And he tries to like practice a joke on Batman, but it falls really flat. Joker's like, sorry, but pretty much speaking to nobody for 10 years, your stand-up comes a little weak. But Joey's like, can you take me with you on your adventure? And Dad's like, no. And Joey's like, I know something. I know about the Speed Force storms. And guys, these Speed Force storms, they're very dangerous, but they're revealed and pretty much explained more in issue number 2. That we'll get to after this issue, or book number 2. And guys, Dad's like, okay, sure, you know some stuff. You can join along. And Joey's like, yes, finally, it's Joker and Batman. Batman, knock it. And Joker just starts laughing as they go through the wasteland. And guys, as we continue, this is going into part 3, the Asylum. Now guys, that was pretty much part 2. More questions. Batman finally got out of that asylum and he's met the Joker, so now we're getting to the really good stuff. So, let's get to it. So diving into part 3, it's the Asylum. And it's pretty much, it's 2 days journey to Coast City. They make it Coast City, guys. And we see pretty much Mogo in the sky. It's drained of all life force. We see the lantern pretty much giving energy to Mogo. It's on the ground, it's destroyed. Pretty much they arrive in this place at Coast City, which was like a battle that was lost. that we don't know what this battle was like pretty much for, like what the war was. Well, this is pretty much like a ruins of a battle. And it's said that pretty much Brainiac sucked out the life force out of Oa during this whole chaos. And Batman's talking to Joker, and Joker's like, man, it's hot around. It's pretty warm. Like, it's a pretty warm place. It's a lot of destruction. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes some babies. Like, there's some construct babies made out of, like, Green Lantern constructs. Pretty crazy stuff. These things go to pretty much attack Batman, and Batman's just going all over the place, trying to fight them off, but it's pretty hard. And he tells them that pretty much there's different people who have these Green Lantern rings, but when Oa pretty much lost his energy, they lost their willpower. So these constructs, the Green Lantern rings, they're going crazy because they have no one to pretty much control it. So these people are pretty much just lazy. They're all no willpower. They're being dragged by these like construct babies, and they're going after Batman. And Batman's just dodging everything. And then he pretty much hits different people. Uses Joker's like jar as like a hit thing to hit different people to stop like the constructs from building anymore. But then Batman gets stomped by a big baby foot, and Joker's like, okay, where's the master plan? You have a master plan, right? This is when everything comes together. And Batman's like, no, let me think about it. And as they're about to like pretty much get destroyed, these babies get pretty much stabbed, alright? Stabbed by an unknown force. And this unknown force is actually like a van. And coming out of the van is Vixen. Now Vixen's like, get in quick before these like pretty much these Green Lantern constructs come back. So he gets in, and Vixen talks to him, and actually before that, we actually find out in this van that Poison Ivy, yes, Poison Ivy is driving the van. Vixen's in the back with Batman and Joker, and she's like, why are you doing this? Why do you have the Batman suit on? He's gone, he's dead. And Joker's like, oh, you're gonna reveal to them, right? That you're the real Batman? Like, Joker thinks this is all a game, like he's just laughing about it. And Vixen's like, oh my gosh, Pamela, it's true, this is Batman. And Pamela, guys, that's Poison Ivy's real name. But she says, is this actually Batman? Batman, you're actually alive? And Poison Ivy refuses to pretty much believe this and hits Batman with a branch, knocking him out. Now, we go into part 4. Now, part 3 is pretty quick, so instead of doing like a transition, we're going to jump right into part 4. Now, guys, part 4 is called echolocation. I was about to say echolocation, and pretty much they're in like this place. And guys, this is the final part of the story. And we see Bruce, he wakes up still in like that asylum suit, but now with the Batman cowl. And we see him pretty much in these like tight chains things that are made like diamonds and stuff. And we see these Amazons talking to them. Who are you? Tell us who you are. And this is Supergirl, Poison Ivy, Donna Troy, Vixen. And then somebody out of the shadows comes like, Amazon, stop. Give me a chance to talk to Batman. And this is a warrior woman with pretty much the helmet of Dr. Fate. Now, we're thinking Dr. Fate, that's pretty huge, right? But Batman's like, oh, are you the new Dr. Fate? But this person says, no, magic is gone in this world. It's been rid of. And Dr. Fate is gone too. This is just a helmet. Now, this person takes off their helmet, and it's Wonder Woman. And guys, Wonder Woman has like a mohawk and stuff. She looks like very warrior. Like, she's been on her own, pretty much survival mode. And she's like, why are you here, Bruce? And Bruce's like, thank God, please, Diane, tell me what's going on. And she strips him of his chains, and they start like walking around, and she's explaining what's been going on in the past many years, like past 20 years. All these battles, all these wars. She starts off by telling Bruce the place they're in is Gem World. And guys, Gem World is pretty much a place that it's blocked off, it's underground. It's just like, we're safe here. It's blocking off all the villains. And Bruce is like, Diana, I don't understand what happened here. Diana, or Wonder Woman's like, we lost the great battle. And he's like, we lost, why? She's like, doesn't matter. And he's like, doesn't matter, what do you mean? And Wonder Woman's like, all that matters is that we keep all these survivors, all these people left, safe. She's like, all these people in the underground, we're planning to pretty much transport these people to pretty much Hades. She's gonna take these people to Hades. Like, the world's so bad that she's gonna take these people to Hades in the darkness, where there's maybe some light, but it's pretty bad down there, but better than up here. But she tells him, and Bruce is like, what happened and what's going on? And she's like, pretty much, the Hall of Justice, they see like this Hall of Justice like sign, it's like broken, it's in ruins, and she's like, we felled them. And Bruce's like, you felled who? And she's like, all the people out there, all the people that stood for the Justice League, wanted them to pretty much thrive. We felled them. We didn't stand by them when they needed us to. And Batman's like, what happened to the Hall? He's like, we used to have people come in here, pretty much watch, pretty much forget about the world. It's like a sanctuary and see their heroes. And Warren's like, oh, you think that, huh? Well, do you remember that they actually killed a bunch of people because they were pretty much guided by doom? And Bruce's like, what do you mean? And Wonder Woman's like, you weren't there, were you, when it all went down? And Bruce is like, tell me what's actually going on. What happened? What did the villains do this time? And guys, we see this big double page splash page, which is pretty awesome. You see these images of Lex Luthor, you see the Hall of Justice, you see like this person holding like the head of Darkseid. I thought that's pretty crazy. And then you see Wonder Woman and Alfred. But Wonder Woman pretty much explains that what happened here was that pretty much Lex Luthor and Superman, they held off the thing asking the world what they want, justice or doom. Now this kind of relates to what happened in Scott Snyder's Justice League. But this is kind of like what happened if it went worse and went to Doom's side. And Lex Luthor, everybody chose Doom. They went to the dark side in a way. And when Batman, all the heroes, like pretty much Solitude and the Hall of Justice, they couldn't come out because they went out, all these people were waiting for them, ready to like kill them and take them down because they wanted to team up with the villains. Now, when Batman, Green Arrow, and pretty much Black Canary went out to finally say, hey, you can be let in, just don't be villains, they actually killed them. Like Batman, one of them thinks that Batman died that way. And what we see is that actually what happened was they got in, they killed a bunch of people, then these civilians went against the villains too. So Lex Luthor got betrayed by the people he was actually trying to influence. So all this went into like a war, all these people were dying because they were going against it. It was like justice versus doom. And after all that, what happened was somebody took this time to seize the moment. They took this time of all this chaos to take control. And this person's name is Omega. Now guys, this person, Omega, what he is pretty much is he's kind of like a Batman. Now, you don't know if he's Batman, but he has like pretty much the strategies of Batman. He planned all this out, and he had Darkseid's hey, kill a bunch of people. He went through established order and pretty much took over, and anybody who went against him, he would kill. He would kill these people. And that's when Wonder Woman showed up, took all the survivors against this war, because they lost. They tried fighting back against Omega, but they lost against him. He was too strong. As we see Wonder Woman then and with Alfred to retrieve something, and Omega had with him pretty much a duplicate of himself, like not a duplicate, but Bruce Wayne. Now this Bruce Wayne or Batman would pretty much be his heir. So when Omega died, this Batman would take up his place. But Wonder Woman and Alfred pretty much stole this Batman, and this is the Batman that we see here with her, because Alfred wanted him. And Batman's like, why would you take me and give me to Alfred if you didn't want me to help out and save the world? Wonder Woman's like, you don't need to save the world. The only reason I did that to help out Alfred, because I really I want him to feel bad. I want him to pretty much die of pretty much sadness. And we see Batman, Batman's like, we have to do something, Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman's like, we can't. We've already lost. And she's like, Omega will kill us. We're leaving tomorrow to Hades. If you want to come with, which I really hope you do, please come with, but don't try and interfere with this. And Batman's like, please, we have to do something. Like, Batman's like, we can't just leave all these people to die. We can't have Omega just take over. We always win. And Wonder Woman's like, no. We can't save a world that doesn't want to be saving. Now that's pretty huge, guys. A world that doesn't want to be saving. Now, we then shift and we see all these people. Wonder Woman walks away and she's like, okay, prepare for tomorrow. Here's your suit. You come with us to Hades. Now this kid comes by him, this little kid, and he's like, my brother's been telling me that the place that we're going, Hades, like the underworld, is pretty dark. But you're Batman. You're the real Batman, so you see in the dark like a bat. Can you tell us how to see through the dark? And Batman's like, that's not how it works. It's actually through echolocation. And you see her pretty much yell and pretty much make echoes with this kid. Have like a nice moment, which is actually a pretty interesting image. Like you think it would be like corny and like, oh, it's kind of offbeat of what's going on. Like it's dark and it's a nice scene, but I really like it. It like lightens the tone for the final pages. Now as we go on, Joker wakes up. He's trying to remember like a joke, like that he wanted to tell Batman, but keeps repeating it wrong. He's like, "Where are we going, Batman?" Batman's like, "It's time to leave." And then Wonder Woman wakes up and finds that the suit is gone and Batman's gone. And Wonder Woman's like, "Okay, Bruce, goodbye. Please stay safe." And Wonder Woman walks away, knowing that her friend is out there in the wasteland going against Omega. We see Batman pretty much walking through the wasteland, and we find out that the narrator is actually Joker. He says that we finally start off on our journey, our final journey, Batman and I, the greatest journey ever. Now, this shows Batman, he's in his suit, he's pretty much his new 52 suit that was so awesome, and you see Joker, pretty much the head in the jar Joker, in his arm piece, holding it, and he's going through the wasteland. And guys, that's how the issue ends. It's a pretty dope issue, it's very fascinating, it leaves a lot of questions, like who's Omega, what's going on with this world, who's left, who survived, is Nightwing left, and actually guys, speaking of Nightwing and all these other like the Robins, Wonder Woman actually says that she thinks that Omega is actually one of Bruce's like disciples, or one of like the Robins, maybe Batgirl, which not most likely not, but maybe Nightwing, maybe Damian Wayne, maybe Tim Drake, maybe Red Hood. She doesn't know, but she pretty much is guessing that's them. So that's pretty much a big clue from what's to come in the next issues. But guys, awesome issue, pretty dope. But with the explained part of this video out of the way, let's get to my review of Batman: The Last Knight on Earth. Number 1. Now guys, as you already know, this video is longer than usual because that's a long book. That's 60 pages. Usually I just like explain maybe 20 or 30 pages at a time. That's a 60-page book, but it's a very fascinating book. It's split into 4 parts. The first part, like Batman Asylum. Second part, you see Batman meet like pretty much Joker and get out of Asylum. Then they go in the third part to go fly out the babies, get saved by the Amazons. Fourth part, we see pretty much him with the Amazons. It's revealed that Wonder Woman's alive. She explains everything that's happened. In fact, Batman and Joker set off to fight off Omega. So this is pretty much like an all set up issue. And it's a lot of questions. But what really drives this, Greg Capullo's art. Like, man, guys, Greg Capullo's art is great. Like, seeing how he draws Alfred right there is awesome. Also, like, that big double page splash page is awesome. Looks so good. Joker is hilarious. Guys, the reason I talk about his jokes in the explain parts is I can't really explain the jokes in a way that's going to be as funny, like, unless I get, like, a Joker impersonation. But, guys, the Joker really elevates the tone, makes it a little light with all these, like, dark revelations. But seeing Batman go through this and still not lose hope and still be on the drive to like fight off Omega, it's just really cool and it's really Batman. Like, that's Batman's character. But guys, I'm looking forward to explain more of this issue as we go along. Issue number 2 is really good, guys. We start to see more of like Omega's forces. We see what happens to Alfred, and we start to see more of this like world develop. Like, guys, this is the final story of Batman that Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo wanted to tell. So they're going to tell it in epic fashion. And so far, this issue starts it off on an amazing start. And that's why I'm going to give this issue a 9.45 out of 10. One of the best Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo stories of all time. It's one of my favorite guys. Like, I love New 52, Dark Knight Metal, awesome. But this issue, when it came out and I read it, right off the bat, I was like, this would be one of the best stories ever, if not their best. Now guys, diving into this issue, we pretty much got this dope cover at first. Looks pretty cool. We see Bane and Scarecrow's on his back. Guys, I love this image, because one, Bane, drawn by Greg Capullo, just looks so cool. Like, you see all the veins, he looks very big. And then Scarecrow, he has an interesting look. He has like long like nails that are pretty much like needles, and he looks very scary. Now guys, we start out, and this is part 5. Pretty much this whole story is breaking up into like different parts, and we went through the first 4 parts in book 1. Now part 5 is titled Who's There? So we start out, and what we see is Joe Chill. And Joe Chill, guys, as you remember, is the guy who shot Batman's parents way back in Crime Alley. And guys, in book 1, my explain video, I said Crime Valley. It's actually Crime Alley. Little mistake, but Crime Alley, he shot the Bruce's parents with like his mom, with the whole thing, like the pearls, shot them, and then Bruce made a vow to become Batman. So Joe Chill is very important to Batman's origin story. So seeing him here is pretty good. But we see Joe Chill, he's cooking something, and there's somebody in the corner, in the shadows, it's Batman. He's saying, I took away your guns, I hid them so you can't do anything. And Joe Chill's like, all I'm looking for is pepper to add to my meal. And he then sees like a shadow of ears. He's like, huh, you're not that good at being stealthy, are you, ears? That's what he calls him. And then Batman's like, lucky for me, neither are you. And Batman jumps at Joe Chill, jumps very hard, guys, jumps down, throws him against like the stove, because Joe Chill's pretty much like cooking something, throws him against it, and a fire starts erupting, guys, a fire behind them. And Batman's like, you could end up burning the whole place down if you don't tell me what I want. And Joe Chill's like, okay, whatever. Like, he's not even like fazed by this. There's fire going around. He's like, I'm just trying to cook something. He finds the pepper, starts applying it, and as we go on to the next page, he's like, funny thing, ears, this meal, I'm making it for you. It's pretty much like a send-off. It's like a good send-off to your whole journey. And Batman's like, the boy has no records. Pretty much in issue number 1, as you remember, Batman saw like a boy that was pretty much dead in Crime Alley. And Batman's like, the boy was 10 years old. And Joe's like, yeah, 10 years and 3 months. And it turns out this boy is Joe Chill's son. And Joe's like, he's very good at plugging down Waynes, killing Waynes, pretty much shooting him in Crime Alley. And Batman's like, what do you mean by that? And Joe's like, I know you, Bruce. I know everything. And pretty much Joe's like taunting him. He's like, that's why I'm thinking of making this meal for you. because your journey is about to end. You're about to die. And Batman looks at him and then hits him against like the stove, and you see all his fire, it's getting even worse, and he's like, that's right, Bruce, I know everything. And Batman's like, in seconds, the fire behind you will consume this whole apartment. Guys, this apartment's pretty like, it's like dirty, it's not that nice, it's gonna consume the whole apartment, and you'll be in flames. Just tell me what I want to hear. And Joe's like, you mean, what you mean? And Batman's like, who is the boy in Crime Alley? And Joe's like, oh, do you mean you in Crime Alley or the new one? So Joe's trying to just like joke about this, and Batman squeezes him and yells out, and Joe's pretty much like yelling really loud because it hurts, and Batman's like, tell me, and Joe's like, you already know, you've always known. He's like, all these years, you never wondered why the pearls, right? He's just taunting him, guys. Well, no more secrets, so welcome to the last case you will ever do. And as we go that, pretty much you go like a zoom in on Joe's eyes, and then we shift to pretty much Batman waking up. He's been having a bad dream, and turns out he's screaming while he's having this dream. And Joker actually wakes him up. He's like, I got it right. The knock-knock comes first. And throughout the story, Joker's trying to remember like this joke, and it's like, knock-knock, who's there? You know, like the basic one. And he's like, knock-knock always goes first. Isn't that right, Batman? And Batman's like, yeah, knock-knock goes first. Go back to sleep, Joker. And Joker's like, I can't. You're screaming. What are you dreaming about? And Batman's like, nothing. An old case about a dead. And he's about to say dead kid. Joker's like, never mind. I don't care. He's like, let me go over something. It's very important. Hear me out. We've been traveling as companions and comrades for the past week. Well, why don't I just be your Robin now? And as he says that, he's cut off, and Batman's like, stop, we have to move. And what's approaching them is pretty much like a Speed Force storm. Guys, this Speed Force storm is crazy. And as it comes by, and Joker's like, exactly, we need to move on, evolve. That's what I'm saying. So, what do you think? Should I be Robin? Joker is not even focusing on what's going on. He just wants to be Batman's Robin. And as the Speed Force storms comes by, Batman's like, a duck. He jumps, grabs Joker, they go into like the dirt, and Joker's like, so what's the answer? Can I be Robin? And Batman goes by his horse, and he's like, I make this damn horse Robin before you, now shut up. And Joker's like, really? He's like, look out. And you see the Speed Force storm pretty much go onto this horse. This horse is pretty much like turning to bones and destroys it. And Batman and Joker barely get away. Pretty much what the Speed Force storm does is if you get in it, you'll either like age a lot and die old, or you'll age like pretty much young and die as a baby. So you're pretty much gonna die either way. And then as Batman and Joker get away, Joker says this awesome line. He's like, well, look at that, another perfectly good Robin, dead. Oh my guys, Joker's a savage. Like, hear him say this, and then he's like, all like, oh man, I actually like that one. The other ones are pretty bad, because as we know, guys, Joker killed Jason Todd, he messed with Dick Grayson, he's messed with all the Robins. So hear him say that the horse is the best one, it's pretty funny. And as we go on, Batman makes it into this like cave and gets away from the Speed Force storm. And then the Speed Force storm starts like speaking to Bruce. And they're like, please, Bruce. And you see the flash symbol. Guys, we see 3 flashes in this storm. It's Jake Garrick, Wally West, and Barry. And they're all like sucked into this. It's pretty much like their worst nightmare. And it's pretty bad. Like, if you think about it, it's very disturbing. They're like pretty much going through like endless like pain. Because if you're stuck in the Speed Force and can't get out, you're pretty much going through all these nightmares. You're feeling a lot of pain. And they're like, please, Bruce, help us. And as Batman steps out and goes to save them, they're gone. And Joker pretty much narrates. You guys, as we found out last issue, the narrator of the story is the Joker. And he says that I felt it. Up against Batman's chest as he held me, because pretty much Batman's pulling this jar, a headed jar Joker, up against his like ribs. He's like, I felt him breathing heavy, like he was pretty much sad about this. He couldn't save his friends, Jake Garrick, Wally, Barry, and Joe's like, but we had to move on. That's when Batman decides, like, we just have to move on and forget about this. And that's when they pretty much went on like a glider, and they started gliding in the sky, trying to find like civilization and find out where Omega is. And guys, Omega's the main villain, and he's caused a lot of this stuff. Now, as they fly by, they find this place called Fort Waller. Now, guys, when we think of Waller, it's like Amanda Waller, pretty much the leader of the Suicide Squad, or pretty much, not the leader, but she manipulates all these villains. This isn't any, like, Suicide Squad place. This is just like a fort. And you see all these soldiers, and they come out, they get in their posts, they have bandages wrapped around them, and they're shooting at something. It's like big tanks. Like, guys, this is pretty crazy. You see all these tanks, they're shooting at stuff, and Batman's like telling Joker, what is this? And Joker's like, oh, they're going against some big enemies. A lot of them have died. They've been planted there for so many years, and pretty much this place was supposed to be like the protecting place of all the greatest scientists, like Curtis Holt, who is Mr. Terrific, Dr. Savannah, and Detective Chip. All these like great scientists, but a lot of them died, and the ones left are pretty much stuck in this fort, and these soldiers are protecting them from the rot. And guys, the rot is pretty much like, think of Swamp Thing and all the plant life going against like the rot, and it's like evil stuff. Now this rot, they look like kind of like zombies, but kind of worse. And they go up, and these soldiers are shooting them, trying to survive, but they can't, guys. Like this rot is like dangerous. They're just eating them alive, biting them, killing them, and you see like explosions everywhere. And Batman's watching. He's like, "What can we do?" And pretty much these rot are like, "Give us the bones." They want the bones of like these soldiers, and the soldiers are like, "Just keep fighting, we can't stop. This is our last stand." And Batman asks, "Can we help them?" And Joker's like, "Which side do you want to help?" And as he says that, you see pretty much this plant life come out, and you see Swamp Thing. And he's not on the good side. Swamp Thing's actually bad. He's like wild, and he just starts killing a bunch of the soldiers too. Like he's actually not a good guy anymore. He's like turned wild, he's infected by the rot, which it just shows how much this world has gone too far. Like it's not a good world anymore. It's a world that doesn't want to be saving. Now, Batman and Joker, they decide, let's just move on and find another place. Now we shift to pretty much Alfred. And guys, Alfred, he's in like this city. And guys, remember Alfred built like a city for Batman. If Bruce chose to, he could go to this place where his parents didn't die. It's like the perfect civilization. Bruce can live like a normal life. And Alfred's going in this place every night, like seeing if it's all good. And he goes in, he's starting to like turn it off. He's like, he has to turn it off so he doesn't waste energy. And somebody says out of the distance, like, "Oh, don't turn it all off. It's so pretty." And Alfred thinks it's Leslie Thompson. He's like, "Hey, don't worry, I'm shutting down, I'm going to sleep." And turns out it's Bane and Scarecrow. And they say, "Hello, Pennyworth, you did a bad thing." And Alfred's like, "Bane, Scarecrow." Like, Alfred's actually pretty afraid of this, because they're not there to just chat and be like, "Hey, what's up, Alfred?" No, they're there to either kill him or do something bad. And they talk to him, and Alfred's like, "Stay back, I'm warning you." And Scarecrow's like, "Couldn't just leave it alone, could you?" And what Alfred did was release the pretty much Batman, the duplicate Batman, the Batman that we're following in this series. When he left that asylum, that was against Omega's plans. And we see Scarecrow, he comes by Alfred, and Alfred's like, "He sent you, did he?" And Alfred's speaking of Omega. And Scarecrow's like, "He goes by Omega." It's like not the name you knew him by. So Alfred knew this person. We don't know who he is, but he knew this person who is Omega. And Scarecrow's like, he can make you stronger. Just come back with us. Join us. See, he's made us stronger. He's made Scarecrow stronger with like needles, made Bane stronger. And he's like, "We can make you stronger, Alfred. We can make you younger." And Alfred's like, "No." He's like, I did a bad thing. I made a mistake way back when. My mistake was not killing you when I had the chance. And Alfred takes out a shotgun and just starts firing at them. He starts firing at Bane. You see blood going out of Bane. Now it's like, you tell him to take his blade off her and just take it to hell. Like Alfred's like, "I will not go by this offer. I will not join you guys." And then he runs out of bullets. Alfred is out of bullets. Bane's there. He's kind of bloody, but he's still good. He's just walking around. He's like, "Okay, whatever." And Scarecrow, right behind Alfred, plugs a needle into him. And Alfred's like, "What have you done to me? What have you?" And Alfred just starts dropping. He just starts dropping to the ground. And Omega comes out of the shadows. And Omega's like, "Well, I asked him to, Alfred." And Bane's like, "Hell, Omega." Scarecrow's like, "Hell, Omega." So these villains are pretty much bitches to Omega. And we see Alfred's like, "You, I know who you are. How could you, after everything we've been to, how could you do this to me?" And Omega's like, "Shh, fall asleep. It's fine. Look around. Look at what you've built." And Alfred's built this place that they're in. Look at what you've built. Pretty much Bruce's parents are alive. You built a family. Just look at your greatest achievement as you fall asleep. And as Omega pretty much grabs his neck and says goodbye. And Omega walks away with Bane, Scarecrow, and you see Alfred just fall to the ground. And he's like, "I did it. I saved everyone." And he falls to the ground, dead. So Alfred's dead, guys. He's dead. And that's gonna really impact Batman later on in this issue. Now guys, as we continue to see Batman, Joker, they travel through like Great Plains, they travel through like Temerian places, pretty much like Starfire species. They travel to like different cities, but the place they're trying to make it to is the Plains of Solitude, because Batman wants to find Superman. Because he's like, there has to be one hero out there other than Wonder Woman. Because he tried Wonder Woman, but she was pretty much like, we're just gonna leave. Go Hades, don't worry about this. But Batman's like, Superman, he's always trying to be hope, trying to like save the day, so he'll have a plan. We'll have to have a plan. And Batman makes it to the Plains of Solitude. He's climbing up like these big like ice breakers pretty much, and you see Joker, and over this whole course of journey, he's like, how about now? Can I be a Robin? And Batman's like, no, you can't be Robin. And as they keep going, Joker just keeps asking. He's like, okay, fine. But can I be Robin? And Batman's like, no, you can't. And then he asks again, and you see Batman just pretty much like climbing up like these ice mountains, and he's getting tired. Like, it's cold, guys. Imagine, it's like Arctic. This is pretty much like the Arctic if you think about it. So it's pretty damn cold, and you see Joker's like, how about? And then Batman goes behind, like he turns around, grabs like the jar, squeezes it, he's like, no, you can't be Robin. There's no one left out there. Who is left out there? Tell me who could be like Robin. And Joe's like, maybe me. And Batman's like, no, you can't. But who's out there? And Joe's like, it's supposed to be knock knock, not who's there. So Joe's kind of mad, but he's still in like a jokingly fashion. And Batman's like, I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this. We have to find Superman. If he's not here, this is our last hope. And Joker's like, just cheer up. And Joker's trying to cheer up Batman. He tells like a joke, and Batman's just silent. And then we hear like this bombing sound, like this like thing approaching. And Joker's like, okay, if it's that bad, you don't have to make bombing sounds. And Batman's like, no, I'm not making those sounds. And then we see a ship approaching. It crashes right next to them, and it's pretty much the same ship that pretty much Baby Clark arrived on Earth in like Kansas, Nebraska, which is pretty crazy. And Batman's like, it's Superman, is he here? And Joker's like, man, they must have brought like the whole nursery. And you see all these ships arrive, and they just start hitting Batman. Batman gets hit against like the ice mountains, and Batman's almost like knocked out. And Joker's like, well. And Joker's like, here he comes. And you see this like unknown figure approach them. And Batman's like, Clark, is it you? And you see pretty much the Superman symbol. And Batman's like, we come to save you. And Superman says, rest, Bruce. He's like, it's alright, you made it. And you see this awesome image. Guys, look at that image. It's just so cool. Like, Greg Paul draws it so well. You see Batman held by Superman. Superman has like this beard. Like, he looks old. He's like in a jacket. He has the Superman symbol. And Batman's just holding the jar that pretty much Joker is in. So, pretty crazy image. And it ends this part out on like a big bang. Now, going to part 6, we see what happened to Superman, how Lex Luthor ties into this, and where Batman and Joker's journey takes them next. So, let's dive in. So, part 6 is called The Miracle. And guys, coming into here, you see Batman asking Superman a question. Like, he woke up, he's with Joker, they're in the Fortress of Solitude in a way. Well, it's like the Plains of Solitude. And he asks, he's like, why'd you not do anything? The whole world is falling apart, and you didn't do nothing. You didn't help anybody out. You didn't save no one. And, pretty much Superman is refusing to answer. He's just quiet. He's like, follow me, we're going somewhere. And Batman's like, talk to me, damn it, talk to me. Yeah, I need to know. Why did you not do anything? And Superman just keep following me. And they walk into this place. And it's pretty much like a virtual world. Well, not like a virtual world, but it's Kansas City. And you see Kansas, you see the farms. It's pretty like a nice place. And Batman's like, I don't understand. And they approach like the Kent farm, which that's where like Superman grew up in. And they walk in, and Superman's like, this way. And Batman's like, you dug all this out? And he's like, you just been down here the entire time as the world's fall apart? And Superman's like, I said this way. And Batman's like, no, what's going on? He's like, what's wrong with you? And then somebody up the stairs says, nothing's the matter with him, Batman. And we see Lex Luthor. He's like, he's perfect. And guys, Lex Luthor is like in a lab outfit. He's like totally bald, but he looks kind of shriveled. And he's like very old. He kind of looks kind of crazy. And he has like a Superman shirt on. And he says, he's just not the Superman you're looking for, Batman. And Batman's like, Luthor, you're alive. What'd you do with Superman? Luthor, where is he? And Luthor's like, oh, he's here. Don't worry. And he's like, he's all around here. He's like, follow me. And Batman follows Lex Luthor to like this farmhouse, and you see all these duplicate Supermans. And he says, these were his. And Luthor's like, the one that picked you up was the old faithful Superman. Now this is like a different version from like alternate reality, but these are all like clone Supermans, but not the real one. And Batman wasn't looking for this. He's like, how'd you do this? How'd you find all these? And Luthor's like, my whole plan is to bring him back. We need Superman. Luthor's like, I need to bring back Superman. And Batman touches these Supermans, like pulling out her skin. And Batman's like, we can't use them. And Lex Luthor's like, I've been using them so far, and I've been pretty much trying to investigate and figure out a plan to have like another ship come from space and it be Superman. He can save us all. Now, Batman follows Lex Luthor into like his lab. In Luthor's lab, he's like pretty much telling Batman, oh, I have this whole plan, it's coming all together, Superman's gonna be back. He's going through like this whole ramble of like all his like scientific works, all his stuff he's been doing, and Batman keeps asking, what did you do? And Lex Luthor's like, oh, I did this, I did that. And Batman's like, no, what did you do that caused the end of the world, caused the end of Superman? And Lex is just keep avoiding the question. Batman's like, Luthor, what did you do? He's like, tell me. Luthor finally tells us what happened. And he's like, it was one day, I called Superman. And he was there in a second. It was in Kansas City. It was like pretty much in Kansas by the farms. And Superman showed up, and he's like, what do you want? And Lex Luthor was like, a final battle. He's like, I want to pretty much make a debate that in front of all the world. You make a debate, pretty much tell how good you are, side with justice. I'll make a debate, side with doom, and whoever wins, pretty much the whole world goes by their passion, goes by their influence. So if I win, the whole world is going by doom. It's pretty much like a vote. The majority rules. And Superman's like, what if I won? And Luthor's like, then pretty much it's all justice. I'll go away. The Legion of Doom will be gone. I'll no longer be a villain, and I'll die. But if you lose, Superman, you'll die, and I'll take over. And Superman thinks about it, and all the heroes are like, don't do this. You don't have to do this. It's a bad idea. And what Luthor did was he teamed up with Starro, and he had Starro like pretty much implant, like not control all of the human race, but make them watch this debate on live television. And all they have to think about is one word, either justice or doom. Now, they went through this whole thing. Superman gave like a great speech about being justice, saving the world, and everybody went by his speech. It was a hard one to top. Now, Luthor talked about, oh, the end is coming, pretty much side with doom, we need to be villains to take over this and save the world, but his speech wasn't as good as Superman. And everyone in the world sided with justice. They chose Superman. And Luthor one day, he's like, I knew I lost. And he went out into his planes. And how it would happen is whoever lost would go out to his planes, and this kryptonite would just pretty much stab through them and kill them. And Luthor's like, I waited there, Superman right next to me. He's like, I waited to see if he would save me. And pretty much the kryptonite came out of the ground. Superman looked to go save him, but instead of the kryptonite going through Lex Luthor and killing him, it actually went through Superman. And killed Superman. Went through his neck, went through his body, and Superman dead in front of Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor just held him. He's like, no, this is not what happened. And Lex Luthor tells Batman, it was a big mistake. I was supposed to live, he was supposed to save me, and it would just be all justice, it would all end. This whole rivalry, he was not supposed to die. And Lex like, I even made like another you. I made Superman, I made another Batman, that went like terribly wrong. And Batman's like, what do you mean? And Lex Luthor puts his hands in his face. He's all ashamed. And Lex is like, it's rare. I thought I could like save Superman. I thought I could bring him back. I've been trying all this time, but I can't figure this out. And Batman's like, what do you mean? We have to figure this out. And then Clark comes in, the old Clark, pretty much Superman. He comes in, the one that saved Batman. He's like, Lex. And Lex Luthor spins around his chair. He's like, what do you want, my boy? What is it? And then Superman pretty much goes against Batman. Lex Luthor pretty much charges at them and pushes them out this like wall. And they crash to the wall. And it turns into like a big fight. You see Scarecrow there, and he's pretty much manipulated the Superman, and he's now on their side. Now, Scarecrow's like, see now I'm offended. All these fields down here, all these like farm fields, and there's not one Scarecrow. And he says that I used pretty much the Superman, I'm manipulating them, and they're gonna kill you all. It's by the rules and the plans of Omega. You see Scarecrow on top of Bane, and guys, Bane doesn't really speak at all. All he says in this issue is Hail Omega, that's it. And you see them, and they go to attack Batman, and Superman lifts up Batman, pretty much like Bane. My guys, remember back in Batman number 497, when Batman lifted up, well no, Bane lifted up Batman and broke his back, like that famous cover. That's pretty much what's happening here, but Batman doesn't get his back broken. You see Superman lift him up, and guys, this image is pretty good. Like the art by Greg Apollo, and like the colors by Jonathan FCO Placenta, it really sells it. And you see the Superman get stabbed right through and get sliced in half by Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman shows up, she's like, I have known gods and I speak to none. And she saves Batman. And Batman's like, it's good to see you. And Wonder Woman's like, it's good to see you too, and I'm happy I saved you. And Batman's like, I had it under control. And Wonder Woman's like, sure you did. And they start fighting, and Batman's getting hit by the Supermans. But then this Superman gets his arm chopped off, and Scarecrow's like, get her, rip her head off. And Superman goes to rip Wonder Woman's head off, but she cuts off his head. Guys, cuts it clean off. And Wonder Woman's like, one false Superman won't do it. And Scarecrow's like, good that infected and manipulate all of them, is it? And out of the barn comes pretty much like 100, well, probably like 20 like pretty much unstoppable Supermans. They go charging, and Lex Luthor's like, no, those are mine, I made those. And one was like, they're too many. Batman's like, Lex Luthor, you know how to control them, right? Get control of them and like make a portal so we can get out of here. And Lex is like, no, we can't. It'll only get us like 50 miles or like 50 feet. It won't be enough to get us away from Scarecrow Bay and all these Supermen. And Wonder Woman's like, take us to like the plains. Now, the edge of the plains. Lex Luthor's like, I know where that is. That's very dangerous. You sure? And Wonder Woman's like, I know. Just take us there. And Lex Luthor opens this portal, and Lex is like, go, go. Wonder Woman and Batman, they charge at the portal. And Batman's like, are you coming? And Lex is like, no, I'll stay here. The Supermans are pretty much focused on me. They'll kill me, but it'll give me enough time to leave. And Wonder Woman says, pretty much, Lex Luthor, I'll never forgive what you've done, all the evil stuff you've done. For this act that you're doing, saving our lives, I will speak up. And Lex Luthor's like, to him, please. Lex is pretty much saying, if you speak up pretty much my courage, all the good stuff I've done at this moment, please tell Superman that if you ever see him. And Wonder Woman's like, sure. And they go through the portal, we see Lex Luthor get beat the crap out by the Superman, he's killed, and you see Wonder Woman and Batman pretty much arrive on like this green platform. And this green platform, at first Batman's like, is it grass? And Wonder Woman's like, it's a haunted place. And Batman's like, it's the Spectre. This is the Spectre's cloak. And Wonder Woman's like, the Spectre fell when the fighting pretty much consumed him. Pretty much all this chaos consumed the Spectre. And he's gone. So Wonder Woman and Batman go into a place, and Batman's like, what is this place? And Wonder Woman's like, the place that everyone who died reside. And they go in. It's dark. It's pretty dark. And pretty much Batman's like, where are we? And Joker's like, do you hear voices? I hear voices. And Batman's like, yeah, that's me, Joker. And Wonder Woman's like, we're in limbo on the river of the dead. And Joker's like, who's that? I'm warning you, late. I'll bite your head off. And Batman's like, Joker, it's just Diane. Like, calm down. And Wonder Woman's the only one who can see stuff because of the lasso of truth. Now, she's like, no, down here, you'll hear voices of the dead. You'll hear people who really like speak to you, people close to you that are dead. But if you go out to reach to them, you'll be consumed by death and you'll die, just like them. So don't go out. If you hear somebody that is close to you that's dead, don't go out and grab them. And Batman's like, Diane, let me see. And Wonder Woman's like, you won't be able to handle it. And Bruce is like, please. And she pretty much wraps around the lasso around his like wrist, and they start looking. They're on like a boat, they're on the river of the dead, and Wonder Woman's like, I'm warning you, this place, it's very like scary. You see all the people that you love dead. And Batman's like, it's a good thing I brought Penny. Pretty much she says like, this takes a toll. And Batman's like, I brought Alfred's pay, so it like, you know, money and pretty much. Wonder Woman's like, this is nothing to take lightly, Batman. And Batman's like, I know, but who is Omega, do you know? And Wonder Woman's like, no one knows. And Batman's like, you would tell me though, right? And Wonder Woman's like, I have the lasso right around my wrist, so yeah, I'll tell you. She's like, I think it's one of your disciples, Nightwing, Damian, Tim Drake, Jason Todd. And Batman's like, maybe it is. He's like, wait, I'm hearing voices. Who is that? And he looks over, he's like, it sounds like everyone. And we see all these heroes, and pretty much all these heroes have died. We see like, actually guys, I'm putting up the image right now in the comment section below. Put down like this part of the video and tell me how many heroes you see. Now we see Kyle Rayner, Shazam, Blue Beetle, Black Canary, Huntress, Aquaman, Superman, Cyborg, Green Arrow, Batwoman, John Stewart, Metamorpho, Beast Boy. You see Adam Strange, Mr. Miracle, Hawkgirl. I can name them all day. But these are pretty much all heroes that have died, and Superman is right in the middle. And Batman's like, so many voices, but there's one that's sticking out to me. And one's like, don't go out and reach for it, you'll die, Batman. And Batman's like, who is that? Oh no. And it turns out it's Alfred. Alfred's dead. Guys, at the beginning of the story, we saw that Bane and Scarecrow killed him. And we see Alfred right next to Green Arrow and Cyborg. He has like pretty much those white eyes. Same as those eyes at the beginning of the story of that dead kid. and he's dead. And Batman's like, no, Alfred, I just left you. You can't be dead. And you see Wonder Woman's like, Bruce. And Batman's like, he's like struggling to speak. And Alfred just looks at him, just dead. And they pretty much just like go by them. And Wonder Woman's like, I'll take you out the lasso. You'll go out and reach for it. And Batman's like, no, I'm good. I can deal with this. He's like, just, what if this is all a mistake? What if this is all what's meant to be? What if this is all true? All these people are dead. And Wonder Woman's like, nothing's final. This can't be all true. We can fix this. And Wonder Woman's like, that's the thing that defines us. The thing that defines us is that all the people we lost, we keep going, we keep fighting. And guys, this really like shows Wonder Woman's character that even like the darkest times, she keeps fighting until the very end. And she's like, that pain you have, Batman, hold on to that. You'll really need it, alright? And you see Joker, they stop speaking. Joker's like, finally, alright, let's speak about this game. Can I be Robin? And Batman cuts him off. He's like, but Wonder Woman, what if I end up killing everybody again? Because I'm thinking that I caused all this. I was one of the reasons. He's like, what if what I'm doing right now is causing something even worse? And Wonder Woman's like, we don't know, but we'll figure out. And Wonder Woman's like, you probably will. I mean, like you probably will cause it. But, because you're pretty much the one who always opens up the doors to different things. And Batman's like, but that's not good. If I do this, if I open up another door to chaos and madness, it'll be my fault. And Wonder Woman's like, yes, it could be. But it also could be that if you open up the door to hope, to pretty much saving everyone, you'll be the one that saved everyone instead of killing everyone. And Batman's like, it's a risk, but it's a risk that is worth taking. Now, as they pretty much travel through Metropolis, they travel through like different cities, they're in chaos, but they finally arrive in Gotham City. Now guys, we see Wonder Woman, she has like the red hood on top of her, which looks pretty cool, and she's like, we're here, and Joker's like narrating this, it's like over like certain days, he's like, I tried convincing Batman that I'm Robin, but Batman wouldn't let me. Like, Joker is so caught up on the thing of being Batman's next Robin. Now they make it there, and Wonder Woman's like, look, this is Gotham. And Batman's like, no, this can't be Gotham. He's like, oh my god. And they look out, and that's where we end that part. Now, part 7, going into this, is called Paradise. And as they look, Batman says, this isn't the real Gotham, it can't be. And you see Omega's sign in the sky. And you see all these futuristic ships, you see like Gotham is ruled by Omega, you see all these guards, and Wonder Woman's like, Omega has everyone under control by the anti-life equation, so he controls everyone, and they have no free will. And she's like, I doubt there's anyone left to help us, so we're gonna have to pretty much go against them ourselves. Do you have like any plans? And Batman's like, yes, there's one time that I pretty much stuck into a place. And he starts like pretty much describing this place, and one was like, you didn't sneak into Themyscira. And as he speaks, he's like, well, I did, but there's a way that I did. And as he's about to say his plans, so all of a sudden they hear something. And somebody says, who's there? And it's the Corps of Owls. They jump out, and they're like, the Corps of Owls have sentenced you to death. And they all surround Batman and Wonder Woman. And Joker's like, oh, this is where it gets good. Joker pretty much narrates saying, this is pretty much just a knock-knock joke. Now this is who's there. This is the big reveal. And we get to it, and Batman's like, that voice, it's the leader of the Talons. The Talons comes forward, he's leading all these Corps of Owl members, and he's like, Bruce is like, come forward, I know you. And this Talon is like, my god, Bruce, it's me. And turns out, the leader of the Corps of Owls is Dick Grayson. And that's the big reveal. And Joker's like, that's why this is funnier my way. It's funnier to reveal the who's there at the end of the story. Now, that ends that, and pretty much says next issue, the final battle with Omega. We'll see pretty much that Nightwing, he has other people underground. They'll team up with Batman and Wonder Woman to fight off Omega. We'll find out who Omega is, and we'll find out how Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo end their big Batman run. Now, next issue is huge, but this issue is very important, guys. It's pretty much like set it up, introduce how other characters, where they're at. Like, where Superman's out, where like Wonder Woman's out, how she comes back, what her mindset is, and how Batman and Joker as like companions like go along this journey. Like next issue we'll see if Joker actually becomes the next Robin. Now guys, that's it for the explained part of this issue, so let's get to my review of Batman Last Night on Earth, #2. Now guys, this issue was awesome. I thought it was better than the first one, which the first one was amazing, guys. It set up everything, but this one I felt like the art was even that much better. Like all the callbacks, especially like the image of like Superman like holding Batman in like that Bane type look, like about to break his back. And then the other look of just seeing like Bane, a scarecrow on top of him, like it's such a unique look. And then Alfred, that really hits you emotionally when he died and then Batman saw him like the river of the dead. It's one of the most emotional moments in this whole story. Like, it hit me. Like, the first time I read this, I was like, oof, that's pretty dark. But then seeing Batman and Wonder Woman pretty much keep striving for hope, keep going, and they keep fighting till the very end, it really elevates the story and makes it like really cool. It's really good. And guys, the pacing is well done. For being a 60-page comic, there's no filler. Like even the part where they're like gliding above like Fort Waller, and you see like pretty much the different like soldiers going against the rot and swamp thing. You think that's filler, but it shows all these scientists are gone. You see all the chaos that's erupting, and most of all, what you see in this is that Batman, this is like his final story, the end of it. So guys, first off, we got this dope cover, and it looks really cool. It's one of my favorites. It's not my favorite out of the three. I like the first one the best because that just looks really cool. But this one shows like Omega and Batman fighting, and we see Darkseid's head. And guys, it starts out and we're on part 8, the signal. Now guys, this issue only has 2 parts. Pretty much the whole issue is part 8 and the ending is part 9. But the whole story is like pretty much broken up into different parts. And as we go into like new parts, it gets more interesting. Now we start out and we go back to the past. Now how this story started, like I said, was that like Batman found this dead boy in Crime Alley and then was shot, and he was in the future then. He like woke up in the future. Now here we see that he goes to Commissioner Gordon and the bat signal is broken. It's broken, it's not working, and they need a new one. Now, Commissioner Gordon's like, truth be told, I didn't think he'd give out this early. He's like, I didn't think that like this bat signal would give out so quickly. We gotta fix it. And Batman's not responding. And Commissioner Gordon's like, what is it? Is it Luthor? What's going on? And Batman's like, I was investigating this boy that was dead in Crime Alley. He was investigating this dead boy, and he found that pretty much is Joe Chill's son. And he went to Joe Chill, and remember guys, in issue number 2 we saw Batman go to Joe Chill, and Joe Chill's pretty much like, I know everything about you, Bruce. And then Batman, like, we got back to like the present day storyline, but it's been very trippy in the past. It continues to be trippy here. Now we see Batman talking, and he explains this whole thing that, oh, Joe Chill was with like this doctor did horrible things, and this doctor was Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father. And what happened was when Joe Chill tried to get revenge and kill Martha and Thomas, they pretty much wrote this story out as, instead of having, oh, he went for revenge because Thomas was like really brutal to his son, they pretty much, the Wayne Foundation gave money to the mother, pretty much Joe Chill's wife, and had her forgive about this whole incident. So it made the Wayne's death look very like justice, not like, oh, it was an act of revenge. So that's, and Batman's like, this is really bad. And he starts like gritting his teeth, gets emotional of it. And Commissioner Gordon doesn't notice that's Bruce, and he's all like, calm down, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then he's like, let's just like make this new bat signal on. And he goes to push the button. Commissioner Gordon's like, go on, push it. And just like that. And we go back to the present day storyline in the Batcave. And we see an old Commissioner Gordon, guys. He's like, just like that, what was old is now new. And you see Commissioner Gordon touching Batman's face, because as we saw last issue, Batman and Wonder Woman came upon pretty much the Court of Owls, and the new leader is Dick Grayson, and we find all like the remaining survivors of Gotham in this new and improved Batcave. And Commissioner Gordon's like, man, it's actually you. And Barbara in the back's like, no, we don't know for sure yet. And Commissioner Gordon's like, he says, but that is a bat job if I've ever seen one. He's like, I'm pretty sure that's Batman. And Nightwing's like, it's good we found you, because Omega is going to be releasing his his signal soon. And Omega, he has like the anti-life equation, and he's trying to pretty much control all these people. And he's controlled most of Gotham, most of the world. But once he releases this final signal, pretty much this final, this final signal, if this signal gets out, then everybody will be controlled and there'll be nothing left to do. Now, Batman's like, the Owl Cave, and Nightwing's like, yeah, formerly the Batcave, but we pretty much made it improved so we could like pretty much fight off Omega. And he starts explaining, Bruce, understand that we were pretty much the bats, but the bats is now like a bat symbol. Pretty much the bats is a symbol, it's not really hope anymore, not really like, well, the bats wasn't really a symbol of hope, but it was always like fighting the darkest of times. But with Omega, he's made that symbol pretty much tarnished. It's not a good signal anymore, or a symbol. But pretty much now the owl symbol is a good symbol. So it's pretty much like the whole idea of like the tribes, like the bats, the owls, and how they face each other is flipped on its head here. Now we see Batman talking. He's like, I'm glad you guys are alive. You've been fighting this whole time, right? And Nightwing explains like, yeah, we did fight, but when Omega took over, we were actually controlled for many years. So Nightwing, Barbara, they're all controlled. And Tim Drake was believed to be dead. He pretty much fought, and they thought his neck got snapped, and he was believed to be dead, but turns out he was alive. And he made a new suit that pretty much counter-reacted the pretty much control signal that Omega put out. Because Omega, back then when he took over, put out like a signal to control of everyone, but then Tim Drake made a suit, and he went against that, and he saved Nightwing, saved everyone, and they got back. And Batman's like, oh, that's good then. And he sees like this dartboard of all like Two-Face, Killer Croc, all these different villains who are under Omega. And Nightwing's like, so his new signal that's more powerful is coming out soon, Omega's. And we pretty much tried to stop it. Batman's like, okay, we have to go do it. We have to take him down. This is the best time to do that. And Nightwing's like, you don't get it, don't you? We already fought. We lost. He's like, Tim Drake's dead. We went in there, he died, we barely got away, and soon we're all going to be controlled, and there's nothing really left to do. And Batman's like, we can't just give up, though. He's like, that's impossible, we can't do that. And he's walking down, and Nightwing pretty much calls this signal the amplifier. He's like, it will pretty much get us soon, so we just have to wait out. We can't do anything. And Batman's like, but if Omega's like a young Bruce like me, because remember guys, this story is a young Bruce. He's actually not the real Batman, because the real Batman died at the beginning of like pretty much the whole war between like Justice and Doom. And this Batman is a duplicate. He has the same like memories as Batman, but he hasn't really lived them. He pretty much has those same scars, all that stuff, but he's young and strong. And he's like, if Omega's that too, we gotta fight him. But then Barbara pretty much interrupts. It's like, look around, look at all the people who are dead. It's like pretty much all these people. Tim Drake's dead, your son is dead. And Batman looks, he's like, Damian, how'd he die? And Batman was like, way back when all the people went to the Hall of Justice to kill the Justice League, when you opened that door, Robin was right by your side. And he died alongside Batman. And Batman's like, no, we have to stop this. And Batman was like, no, we can't do anything. You don't get it, Batman. You're not a real Batman. You just keep trying to stop this, but we've already lost. We can't do anything. And one woman walks up to her and she's like, I get your pain, Barbara, but we have to do something. Barbara's like, where were you at? Where were you at when all of us died, when we needed help against Omega? You left us. And one woman's like, I'm sorry, but I had to save my Amazon. A lot of us fell. I had to save a lot of survivors. I'm sorry if I wasn't there to protect and help you guys out. I am real sorry. And you see, like, Commissioner Gordon's like, see, peace and love. He's pretty much a smoky. He's like, oh, I'm young, I'm good, but he's not really. And Batman's like, Jim is right about this thing. We pretty much have to have peace. We have to come together and fight off against Omega. And Nightwing's like, no, it's impossible. He's more cunning. Omega's more like evil. You can't fight him off. He's pretty much like you, but way more better. And pretty much the daughter of Batgirl and Nightwing, pretty much at the end in the future, Nightwing and Batgirl, they're married. They pretty much had a child, a daughter. This daughter's like, he does have the DNA for the tower though. Like Omega's in a tower. And in order to like access and fight him off and defeat him, they need the DNA of him only. But this Batman that we're following in the story is pretty much, he has the DNA of Omega. And Batman was like, no, why would we trust this guy? He brought the Joker along. And you see Batman, he's pretty much there, he's like, he's an ally there. And Joker's like, I appreciate that, Batman, but I'm probably going to end up betraying you in the end. And Batman was like, you're not one of us, you're not the real Batman. And then Batman pretty much has this whole speech, he's like, you may think that, I am a duplicate Batman, I'm not the real one. The real one died as a hero, he died way back when. But I still have the memories, all the scars, all the planning, and I still fight to the very end. He's like, if Omega's pretty much like a young Bruce like I am, I can fight him off, I can take him down, we can make this whole world better. He's like, this is our chance. If he thinks that's pretty much, he just won a battle, and Batman's pretty much all about overconfidence. He's always like winning. So if this Omega just won, then he's not thinking about somebody coming from left field like I am. So he's not thinking about me pretty much attacking, so this is the best time to attack. He's like, please, join me, help me out. And Batgirl's daughter's like, there is one thing, we could ask her for help. And Batgirl's like, no, not her. And Duke's like, she does have a point, we should ask her now that we have him. And Batman's like, please, help me out. And we see pretty much Batgirl come to Nightwing, she's like, you're not serious, I'm actually going to help him out, right? And Nightwing's like, we have to. And Batman's like, what, we could just like stand here and just watch as all this goes to pretty much shit. And that's not what Batman died for, that's not what Tim died for. And Batman's like, okay, sure, we can do that. And as they go along, they go to meet up with this person. We don't know who this person is yet, but before they leave, Commissioner Gordon's like, screw it, who wants to live forever? He's like, let's do this. It's pretty much like a death sentence to go fight off Omega, but it's their last chance. And Joker's like, wait, one more thing. And you see the Robin symbol. So pretty much Joker's going to become the new Robin. Now, as they go, they meet up. Actually, before they meet up with this person, we shift to Wayne Tower. And we see Omega with Scarecrow and Bane. And Bane and Scarecrow are like, good news, sir, that the amplifier is almost done. We're almost about to pretty much release this and take control. But the only thing is the Batman that's been going after you, he's here. He could interrupt, but we're not going to let that happen. And Scarecrow's like, we won't let Gotham pretty much good. We're going to make it something new. This Batman doesn't know what Gotham has become. And pretty much Omega's like, there used to be like a news article. It was pretty much called Gotham Is. And Gotham Is would tell about how people would just say Gotham is terrible, Gotham was a lie, all these different adjectives. But by the end of the Gotham news article, on the last one, it said that Gotham is you. Gotham is whatever you make it to be. So pretty much Gotham, it's not all these lies, it's not all these bad things. If you choose to make it a better place, you can. And he's like, but that's not true. Gotham is a lie. He's like, but it won't be anymore. It'll be better. And he's like, let's go pretty much finish this off and control everyone and make Gotham a better place. Now, before we shift to the next scene, guys, this is like a throwback to the beginning of Scott Snyder's run and the end of his run on Batman. And we saw that news article. The very first page of Batman #1, the New 52, you see pretty much Gotham Is. All these people talking about how Gotham's like terrible, it's a haunted place, it's all about crime. But then you fast forward to the final page of Batman #51, pretty much the end of Scott Snyder's Batman run, and you see Batman on top of like a gargoyle looking throughout the city, and it says like, Gotham is you, Gotham is whatever you make it to be. So I like this callback, guys. A lot of people skip over this page. It's like, okay, it's just kind of like filler. Pretty much Scott Snyder's implementing like a whole thing about Gotham, and it's like whatever. But for me, I'm like, okay, I read Batman. It's like Scott Snyder's Batman run, and this really hits home. It's like, okay, Omega is thinking as like pretty much what people thought of at the beginning of the Scott Snyder Batman run. That Gotham's a lie. It's pretty much terrible. It's all these bad things. With the Batman that we're following in this story, pretty much the hero, the new Batman, he's thinking as like Gotham's you. He's looking on the brighter side of things. So I just want to point that out, guys, because that's a big, important part in the story that a lot of people miss. Now, guys, as we continue, we go to this old warehouse, and you see Batman talking to Catwoman. And he's taking off his mask, but Catwoman's like, no, don't do that. And she's like, and now he's like, we brought him. You wouldn't help us before to take down Omega. He's like, you teamed up with Omega, you're pretty much like an inside... Catwoman's pretty much like the inside man, so she can help him out, but she wouldn't help them before because Batman wasn't there. But now that he's there, Catwoman's like, okay, I'll help you out. And she has this string right next to them, and she's like, I could pull the string. You're all here. If I pull the string, Omega's forces will be here really quickly, and you'll be done. And now he's like, we brought him. We brought Batman. You wouldn't betray us now. And Catwoman's like, I would. This is pretty much what I would do if I was still with Omega, but I'm with you guys. And they walk in, and they're talking, and she pretty much, Catwoman gives Wonder Woman her actually real lasso. The lasso of truth that Wonder Woman's been carrying around, the story is actually a duplicate, but she finds the real one. Wonder Woman's like in awe. She's like, thank you for this. And she's like, I actually thought you were bad, that you teamed up with Omega, but now you've helped us out, you've really changed Catwoman. Catwoman, you're pretty much a hero. And Batman's like, thank you. He's like, you should come with us. I don't want you dying. Catwoman's like, shh, don't worry about it. I'll survive. Just go save the world. And Batman goes. What happens is they split up into two groups. We see Wonder Woman and pretty much the Court of Owls, Nightwing, Barbara. That group, they split off and go and attack pretty much Omega's forces, who are like the different, like Scarecrow, all the villains, the guards, and they go to like take down the amplifier and take down the signal. Now, we don't know what the signal is, but they go and take down that. Now, Batman and Joker, they go as like pretty much the dynamic duo. They go to Wayne Tower, and they're supposed to pretty much put in their DNA and take down Omega himself. Now, Joker is narrating this, and he's like, for many years, we've been enemies. Me and Batman and I. Pretty much we went through a lot. Thanks, Joker gas. I've killed a lot of people. I've done a lot of bad things. But at this moment, when we were teaming up, I forgot about all that. Joker's like, I forgot about all that bad stuff I'd done, but I was with Batman. I was with him, and we were saving the world. Pretty much, they're now, Joker's coming better. He's changing, which is really cool. But guys, we fast forward and we see Batman and Joker make it to Wayne Tower. We see Batman take down all these different like Omega forces. He's like punching in the face. He's like kicking them. He's taking him down. But then he comes upon this big machine, like a big machine that says Hail Omega. And this machine goes after and just starts beating Batman to like a bloody pulp and almost kills him. And Batman's like, "Where are you, Joker?" And Joker's like, "No, not Joker, Robin." And he comes out in Tim Drake's suit. So that suit that Tim Drake used to like pretty much go against that control of Omega, Joker's in now. And he just starts firing his guns. He just like fires a lot, takes down this machine, and he's just laughing. And this machine's taking down. Batman's like, where were you? Joker's like, "Sorry, I had to put the mask on." And you see Joker with the Robin mask on him. And he's like, "Wait, wasn't the Joker mask supposed to be outside, not inside, pretty much the tube, the jar he's in?" And Joker's like, "Shit, I did it wrong." But now Joker's in that full Robin costume, and honestly, it's pretty dope. Like, this is a really cool look for Joker. Like, this is something we've never seen before, and it's really cool. Now, as we continue, we shift to like pretty much Arkham Island, and we see pretty much Wonder Woman, Barbara, pretty much the core of Owl's people, and they're going in, they're like just passing by the guards. What they're using is Jervis text. It's a tag that pretty much makes them kind of like invisible, so they can get through and these guards don't see him. And Commissioner Gordon is outside this place, and he's inside like a van, and he pretty much has comms on him telling him, "Hey, go this way," to like pretty much find like the amplifier. And he's just like smoking. He's like, "We got this." He's like, "Alright, Batman, it's your turn." So he's pretty much like the guy, pretty much helping them find their way. That's his job. He's like, "Let's do this, old friend." And we see Batman and Joker, they're walking through, and they're finding like this Batcave. Now they go in, and they're about to like, before they make it to the Batcave, they pretty much have to put their DNA in, and Batman is successful. He puts his DNA in, and the door opens. Now we go back to Wonder Woman and the Core of Owls, and we see them, and they barely pass by the villains. Pretty much Zaz, Clayface, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, and Wonder Woman's like, they kind of see us, but hopefully they don't see us totally. Because if they see us totally, then all Omega forces will pretty much descend upon them. So far they're barely creeping by, and they make it by, and they make it to the door. And guys, this door inside is the amplifier, and they go to open it up, they barely open it up, and Wonder Woman's like, "Oh my god, it's you." And we don't know who this is. They walk through, but then we shift back to Batman and Joker. And Joker's like, "Holy shit, Batman." And Batman's like, "My god." And Joe's like, "Huh, it's kind of like your Batcave, but instead of like pretty much all like the tributes to like the superheroes you work with, it's pretty much Omega's conquest." And you see him walk through, and they look by, and you see Sinestro's cave. So pretty much Sinestro's dead, Black Adam's dead, Brainiac's gone, Black Manta's dead, and what you also see is Cheetah's skin. So Omega skinned Cheetah. Guys, you can look at all these suits like, okay, these people are dead, he kept them, but this means that Omega skinned Cheetah. Like, that's pretty brutal and messed up. But guys, you see him walk through, and Joker's like, "Huh, this is pretty cool," and Batman's like, "Man, this person, whoever this is, this like young Batman's changed." And Joker walks by, and he sees like his old self. He sees like a pretty much his body and a new head, and he's like, "Yeah, people do change." And it's really cool how like Joker's changed throughout the story, from like a villain to pretty much an ally of Batman, the new Robin. And before they can talk anymore, Batman's like, "Joker, move!" And they're pretty much attacked by Wayne Tech, and they're wrapped up in like these, I guess they're not chains, but like vines. And Batman's like, "Don't move, Joker. The more you move, it pretty much restrains you more." But then this unknown voice says, "No, I actually changed it." And you see Omega come out of the shadows. You see Omega above Joker and Batman. He's like, "New and improved. With these vines, pretty much, no matter if you move or not, they're pretty much going to become more stuck to you. You won't be able to get out." And Omega's like, "Welcome, Batman, to the ending of your long journey." So now we're getting to the good part, guys. This is where we're eventually going to find out Omega's, pretty much, his identity. And guys, we shift back and we find out that the person inside the room and charging this amplifier, this signal, is Martian Manhunter. He's under the control of Omega, and Wonder Woman's like, "Manhunter," and she's like, please, talk to me. And she's like, "It's Diana, John, please talk to me." And Martian Manhunter starts saying, "Duh, duh, duh," and Wonder Woman's like, "Diana, yeah, it's me," and then he's like, "Die," and he starts attacking them, and Wonder Woman's pretty much stuck in this room. The door is closed, she's stuck with Martian Manhunter, and outside the door is Duke, Barbara's daughter, Barbara Gordon, and Nightwing. They're all stuck out there with the villains. And now they're pretty much seen. So they have to fight off Killer Croc, Zaz, Bane, Mr. Freeze. So they have their work cut out for them. And we ship back to Omega and Bruce, and they're inside this room. And Bruce is naked, guys. He's inside like the Metron chair, and he's stuck to it. And Omega's pretty much talking. He says to him, he's like, I wasn't sure you'd come. He's like, I'm pleased you'd come. Because pretty much like, Bruce is supposed to be Omega's successor. He's like, I'm growing old. I'm going to be dead soon. I have all these scars. You have the same memories. You have the same skill set. But I just need you to believe. I need you to go to my side. And he's like, this is what this Metron chair will do. With this Metron chair, it'll pretty much go in his brain, control him, and then he'll become the new Omega. He'll become the new leader. And Bruce is like, no, this won't happen. And then Omega's like, yes, it will. And then Joker jumps out. He's like, no, I'll kill you. And he goes, attacks Omega. But Omega jumps up, kicks him in the face. Like, guys, he kicks him multiple times, and Joker falls to the ground. Bruce is like, stop it, leave him alone. And you see Joker on the ground. Pretty much the jar is broken, and he's just like bleeding. And Omega's like, don't feel bad for him. He died as he's always wanted to, by Batman. And Bruce is like, Batman, he'd be ashamed of you. The real Batman would not like this. He would think you're pretty much a murderer, an evil person pretty much. And he says, you heard me, you're an abomination. You are everything that the real Batman hated. And Omega's like, I have to disagree with you, Bruce. And then we turn the page. And he's like, because I am the real Bruce Wayne. So Omega's the real Bruce Wayne. The real Bruce Wayne wasn't killed at the beginning of this whole war. When he opened the doors to the Hall of Justice, we thought he got killed. Damien got killed, Green Arrow got killed, Black Canary got killed, but this Bruce actually survived. And he became Omega and started out this whole thing. And Bruce is like, no, that's not possible. He's like, yes, when I let them in, pretty much, they pretty much tore me to pieces. They almost killed me. He's like, but I survived, and I became Omega. And he's like, yes, Bruce, this is all part of the plan. You being here, old friends and new friends alike. And you actually shit to see Commissioner Gordon, and his van's attacked by the KG Beast. And he's pretty much off comps. We don't know what happened to Commissioner Gordon. Did he die, or is he still alive? But then we see, we ship back to pretty much the Court of Owls, Nightwing, and Wonder Woman. Well, not Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is stuck with, like, Martian Manhunter. We see Nightwing, Barbara Gordon, Duke, and they have to fight off against all these, like, Scarecrow, Clayface, and Scarecrow says, oh, they can see you, little owls. And he's like, and take it from someone who knows. And he says, now is when all your birds should be very, very scared. And we saw all of them getting attacked. Pretty much the heroes are losing, guys. No hope. And we see Bruce, he's like, no, I'll stop you. I'll bring you in. And he's like, no, you don't. You won't stop me. That's what the real Bruce Wayne says, Omega. He's like, you will take down and replace me. You'll come the new Omega. And he's like, Bruce is like, never. I will never be you. And Omega's like, find me up. I'll be upstairs watching all the chaos. Come to me when you are done, and you'll replace me. And as he walks away, he pretty much turns on the Metron chair, and it starts doing its work on Bruce. And Bruce is pretty much falling asleep. Joker is pretty much coughing. He's like, I wrote you something. I wrote you a poem. Everything that I wanted to tell you. And Bruce is like, Joker, just rest. Whatever you wanted to tell me, don't worry about it. And Joker's like, no, it's not a poem, you idiot. It's like something I've been wanting to tell you. It's a case about a dead boy. And Bruce is like, what are you talking about? And Joker's like, I'm the one who did it all. I did that whole thing. So at the beginning of the story, when Batman investigated pretty much a 5-meter chalk line over like 363 days, somebody planted like a 5-meter chalk line and did it for 360 days. They all connected and made like a dead Batman. And the heart of it was in the heart of Gotham, Crime Alley. Now we remember this case, and Batman's like, who would do this? But it was actually Joker. And Joker revealed this whole thing about Joe Chill, about Thomas Wayne, and it brought Batman to his breaking point. Pretty much Batman was pretty much brought to his lowest point. Joker's like, that's what I wanted to do. I want to end this whole rivalry. But then, pretty much you kept going. You are Batman. You are the real Batman. You kept going. You pushed forward, and all this happened. And Joker's like, I don't know, when Alfred pretty much put me in that jar, put his head in a jar after Joker was kind of killed, not totally killed, but it's just head in a jar, and placed me out in the middle of nowhere. If he was mad at me, did he think I went too far with my case, or was he just sad of what happened? And Joker's like, that's what you are, Batman. You pretty much, you keep going. Yeah, even at like your lowest point, you fight till the very end. And Joker's like, this Omega, he's not the real Batman. He isn't. He's not. He's evil. He's doing bad things. You are the real Batman. And Batman's pretty much, he uses the penny of Alfred to pretty much give him out his Metron chair. Joker's like, speak to me. And Batman just gets up and goes on to take on Omega. Now, we ship back and we see Omega, and he's like, Scarecrow, take them down, but don't harm them. Because what he's trying to do is use his amplifier to take control of all of them and have a big army. That's what Omega's doing. And you see all Bane fighting off against the Nightwing. You see all these different villains fighting off against each other. You see Barbara Gordon fighting off Mr. Freeze. You see Bane beating the crap out of Duke. Nightwing facing off Killer Croc. And you see them all get hit so many times. You know, Omega's just speaking over all this. He's like, finally. Omega's like, look at them struggle. Look at them fall. But eventually, Gotham will be a better place. No more hatred. They'll be controlled by me. And you see all these images of Martian Manhunter, like, waiting for, like, the call from Omega to make this amplifier finally go. Wonder Woman's getting beat the crap out by Martian Manhunter. And then, pretty much Omega says, like, do you agree with me, Bruce? And he thinks behind him is Batman, who is now, like, the new Omega, pretty much replacing him. But Batman's like, no. And Omega's like, oh, so what did I forget? And Batman's like, more than you know. And they charge at each other. They pretty much have like a brutal fight. Back and forth to fight each other. And as they fight and pretty much exchange like brutal blows, Omega says, like, I remember when they all tore me to pieces at that gate of the Hall of Justice. I remember like a father pretty much cutting a piece off of me and giving it to his son. I remember a little girl setting me off on fire. They all hated me. Everyone here is evil. You have to know that, Bruce. And you see Duke trying to get through the door as he's getting beat the crap out. You see all the villains like beating the crap out of the heroes. Everyone is losing. And Omega tells Batman, he's like, you can fight me all you want, but unless you follow me, this world has no place for you. And Batman punches him back, and he's like, I'll make my own damn place. And Omega's like, you know what? I take it back. You do belong here. And he takes this like staff that pretty much has like Darkseid's head on it and stabs it into Batman's like abs. And you see Batman pretty much yell, and Omega's like, after everything I showed you, I'll pretty much have to kill you and replace you with a new Batman, a new Omega. You were a waste of time. And pretty much he activates, like, the amplifier. Martian Manhunter is activated, and we shift back to pretty much the core of Alice fighting out these villains, and as Scarecrow's about to, like, kill Duke and kill Barbara Gordon's, like, daughter, Nightwing jumps in front of him, and he's pretty much hit by this needle. And Barbara's like, no, Dick. She runs toward him, and they think that Nightwing's dead. But guys, we see pretty much Wonder Woman, she's like, John, you have to fight back. And we see Martian Manhunter, pretty much the amplifier, it's activated, and he starts pretty much saying the signal out to everyone. And Omega's like, Bruce, can you hear it? Everyone's going to be under my control. And you see all these people getting controlled by him, and he's, Omega's like, no more fighting, no more screams, no more shrieks. And then he's hit from behind by Batman. He's hit by the staff and hit by Darkseid's head. And you see Wonder Woman take control of Martian Manhunter, pretty much stop Martian Manhunter, and all that's left is Batman and Omega. And Omega's like, the signal needs to be grounded. Batman's like, here, come here, I'll ground it for you. And Batman just starts beating the crap out of Omega, hitting him with the staff, he hits him back and forth, and Omega's like, can't you see? They're all killing each other, they're evil. We have to turn them, we have to control them. And Bruce is like, no. He's like, they can believe, they can be with us. He's like, they can listen, they can do, but they don't listen, it doesn't matter. Batman's not supposed to change all this. Bat is pretty much in a storm of bats. He's nothing special. All he is, he's like, but that's what makes Batman special. He's not somebody who just is supposed to turn the tide. Batman's supposed to be there, and he doesn't just turn the tide, but he changes everything and beats the villains. He fights till the very end. He's like, that's what Batman is and will ever be. You see Batman take the staff, and he stabs her right in Omega's head, killing him. Now, he's above Omega, guys. You got this dope splash page right here. Looks really cool. And Batman's above him. Omega's head is on, like, the desk. And you see Omega's like, damn you, kid. He's like, in the end, you let them in. And Batman's like, you let them in, too. He's like, you created all this. You created me. You created, like, a duplicate Batman. So he's like, you are the real Batman, yes. But you probably saw anywhere one last chance to change, pretty much turn the tides. And Batman's like, we have to. And you see all these heroes, pretty much they won. They won. They beat Omega, and we shift back later on. And we go to part 9. This is the final part of this entire story. It's called The Doorway. And you see Joker pretty much narrating. It's like, I can't believe it just started with like a chalk line. And this chalk line is that like Joker drew and caused this whole case. And that was like the beginning of the story. And you see Batman's like, alright, stand back. and he's talking to Wonder Woman, and he's like, is everything back to normal? And Wonder Woman's like, yes, the Amazons are doing good, there is a new villain, and Batman's like, huh, the usual, and you see Joker right next to him. Guys, you see a page of pretty much Joker, Wonder Woman, and Batman, pretty much the new Trinity. And you see him talking, and you see all of them. You see Joker in like Tim Drake's suit. You see a new Batgirl. You see Barbara Gordon. You see Duke. You see Commissioner Gordon. You see Nightwing. And Batgirl, she says, she's like, rumor from Waller is the Green actually needs like a new avatar. So pretty much Swamp Thing needs like a new avatar, and Commissioner Gordon's like, oh, I'll do that. Guys, you know how dope it would be if Commissioner Gordon became Swamp Thing? Like, that'd actually be pretty interesting. But then they all look up, and they see pretty much this ship come from the sky. And they're like, I think it just opened. And you see the ship come down, and it's the ship of Kal-El, Superman. And you see the ship open, it's a baby, and Batman like pulls out the baby of the ship, and you see Joker, he's happy about it. You see all the heroes, they're happy about what they've done. And the final image, guys, it shows right here. The final image, guys. The final image of the entire story. You see Batman holding baby Clark with Joker by his side and Wonder Woman by his side, pretty much looking to a brighter future and looking to a world that he saved again. So guys, that closes out the story of Batman the Last Night on Earth. Now, one more thing before we go into like my review of this issue. You know how cool it would be if actually Scott Snyder did like a story with Greg Capullo of like Batman and Joker and Wonder Woman dealing with like the villains of the DC Universe after this story, and how like Batman raised Clark. Like, you know how powerful Clark would be? Like, yeah, Superman's powerful, but imagine if he had all the planning and all of like the prep time that Batman had, like all the intelligence. Like, that'd be pretty dope. But yeah, guys, in the comments, tell me what you think about that. Like, what if they made like a story, a new like a 6-issue miniseries about that? Like, I read that. But guys, the explain part of this issue out of the video, let's get to my review of Batman Last Night on Earth, number 3. So guys, this issue is really good. I liked it. It is my least favorite out of all the 3. Like, my favorite is issue number 2 because all the stakes were like really high with Superman and like the ending. Like, that issue was almost like a masterpiece. Now this issue is still good. Like, I think it's still really solid. Greg Capullo's art is amazing. Like, guys, Greg Capullo delivers on all levels. He's really good at drawing. He's like the best artist for Scott Snyder's stories. And guys, Joker in this whole story, and even the final issue of him becoming Robin, I think it's really cool. Because some people have been saying like Joker would never become Robin. He would not team up with Batman. But guys, you have to remember, this is like in the future. And Joker's like been alone for 10 years and he's had time to think about it. He's like, yeah, I've been enemies with you, Batman, but it's time that we become allies. And then guys, Wonder Woman's great in the story. Like, she's a warrior trying to like get Martian Manhunter. Like, that was cool. And the final fight between like Batman and Omega is dope. Like, seeing Batman stab Omega with like a staff that has Darkseid's head on it, it's just so cool. And the whole like story of like them trying to control Gotham, and like the throwback to the whole like beginning of Scott Snyder's Batman run, with like the whole Gotham is and Gotham is you like news article, that was really interesting. It brought everything together very nicely, and just the flow of the story is really good, and all the cameos. Like, it really feels like a final Batman story. Like, if this was Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's final Batman story, I'd be fine with it. Like, it is, but it's not like the final Batman story. Like, if this was like Batman's final story, no more stories for Batman ever, I'd be fine with it. Like, yeah, it sucks, no more Batman stories, but this one really ends it on like the best note. It ends it very well, and I really like it. Now guys, with Omega, some people have been asking, like, I saw like one question that I consider, and I think you guys will be asking is, okay, so if Omega can control all these people and beat Superman, then how is he beat in a fist fight against Batman? Like, how does that make sense? Well, you guys have to remember, when Omega fought off against like Superman, beat all these different people, he was younger, he was stronger. Where here he's older, he's pretty much almost dead. He's as old, and his whole plan is to replace himself with this new Bruce Wayne. So it makes sense that Bruce would beat this older Bruce Wayne. Like, that makes sense. And guys, you have to remember that the only thing that beats Batman is Batman. Like, no one else will beat Batman but himself. So that's really what Scott Snyder's trying to convey here, and it's really cool. But guys, overall, I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10. It's a solid ending. I like the other 2 issues better, like kind of like way better. It's just like the stakes were really high, but this one still ended it very well. Like, there's certain flaws, like at the beginning with the Commissioner Gordon Batman thing, that is kind of filler, like the first 2 pages. Like, I like the interaction between Commissioner Gordon and Batman, but there could have been like something that made more sense there, because that's just kind of like keeping it trippy. It's more like Scott Snyder saying, okay, this is like a trippy start, but we're going to unravel this whole mystery as we go. But guys, I did like that it was revealed that like Joker was the one that caused that whole case. Like, that brought the story together. But guys, in the comment section below, tell me what you thought about Batman Last Night on Earth. Did you love the series? Did you hate it? Do you think it's like the perfect ending to Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo's Batman run? And would you be down for a whole story with like Batman raising baby Clark, like a baby Superman? Like, I'd be down for that. And guys, if you like this video, give a big thumbs up. If you like the content I'm dropping on this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on pretty much the full like story of Batman Last Night Earth, which I'll be like putting out in the next like 2 days or so. Because like these whole 3 videos are combined into one if you missed it. And also hit that notification bell so you can not miss out on any of the DC Comics stories that are coming out soon. Like, I explain all of them and review all of them on this channel. Alright guys, that's the video, and peace out.